e4, you may play h5 first move, and you win the blitz games. It doesn't make this opening any good. But on e4, f5, and on ef, knight f6. Now this, to my amazement, I realized that the name of this opening is a Fred. Why is it a Fred? I have no idea, and I'm not going to try to do any further research to find out. My approach to this is very simple. If somebody is willing to give me a pawn and play knight f6 with idea d5 and bishop takes f5, what I would do, I will try to punish my opponent by not giving him this pawn back. I would go simply knight f3, and after d5, knight h4. There is absolutely no way black can get any compensation for it. Even if they go e6, I take, they take. They have tiny advantage in development, but white will quickly equalize development after going, let's say, knight f3, and giving central pawn for one tempo ahead in development. There is no way it can be recommended. This is one way to play against this opening, and the other way to play is also very challenging, very ambitious, is bishop e2. To try to play bishop h5 check, and there is no way black can stop it unless they go some ridiculous move like h5, after which we go knight f3 and knight h4. And if they go g6, we simply take, and again, pawn down for God knows what, and for nothing. So it's, I think, the best way to play for black in this position after bishop e2 or after knight f3, just to pray. There is nothing can be justified. There's no way this opening can be justified or recommended for black. That's the way you should look at it. Don't try to refute with g4 anything. Well, actually, it's not that g4 is a bad move. If you play g4, you better analyze a little bit, and I'm sure it's a good too, but simple moves like bishop e2 and knight f3 is the quickest way to solving your opening problem, if you can call it a problem, and to get sizable advantage in the opening. So there are countless unsound openings, bad openings. So we, on e4 or d4 first move, some moves like h6, h5, or g5 first move, that we don't even have to, we cannot go through all of them, but we're only going through the openings that more or less been played in a tournament. We're only covering those that they don't necessarily make sense, but they have been played. So you might experience them, you might see them in your tournament games in future. So let's look at some more of those openings. So let's take Sicilian defense. Sicilian defense is 100% sound opening, and it's also very popular opening. However, it's huge opening, and inside of Sicilian defense there are variations and continuations that can be considered by themselves as a separate openings. So those are the ones I wanted to talk about. For example, on e4, c5, knight f3, we are not going to discuss d6 or knight f6. moves that played on knight c6 or g6. Actually, we're going to discuss a little later d6 move in some for some specific reason. However, there is a move d5. D5 is again, as the previous openings that we looked, it's absolutely unsound because black initiates contact in a very early stage of the game on a move 2, being tempo behind, and after e takes d, eventually they're going to have to take with the queen. So this is not a good way to play. For example, e takes d, queen takes d5. What is black looking forward to? So you don't want to play to put yourself in danger when, in the best case, if your opponent plays bad, you can equalize the game. In this case, black has no chance equalizing the game if white plays more or less soundly. So knight c3, you don't want to keep wandering with the queen to lose more tempo. So now queen d8, just an example, simple example. We can go bishop b5 check to develop with the tempo, and after bishop d7. So what you can do here, you can castle and having lead in development. You can go d4 for the same reason, to show you how bad is it to play like this. I'm gonna try another continuation here for white. Thus, this is the continuation. It's not that you have to do for some ambitious players, and I'm going to show you how black even may get punished very quickly in the game. White can go knight e5 here, and for example on bishop takes b5, queen f3, black is in grave danger. So if they go f6, they're gonna have serious problem after knight takes b5, f takes e, and queen takes b7. And you see there is knight c7 threat, and black is absolutely busted. And if black tries to play something else, like in this position knight f6, then you also can play queen takes b7 with very bad consequences for black. You see the bishop is hanging, you can take at least bishop. Probably the best move is bishop c6, then knight takes c6, knight takes c6, and after queen takes c6, black is pawn down with zero compensation and absolutely lost. Well, this is the way of being punished, so of punishing your opponent if they play like this. So you do not have to know, you do not have to know how to play if you chose to play bad openings, because I absolutely don't want to do that. Don't want to tell you how to play bad openings, because the best way is not to play them at all. But if your opponent plays, so that's the approach. Try the quick development, and if there is concrete way to get some winning attack or combination, you do it. Some people play e4, knight f6, e5. This is Alekhine defense if black makes normal knight d5 move. But some people try to get cute, and they try to play like move like knight g8 and later take advantage of e5 pawn, pushed the e5 pawn. So black, white can go d4 here, and it's black's move. Now, if black goes d6, you simply go knight f3 and develop bishop d3 or bishop e2, and you're doing very well. That if black tries to justify this idea, knight f6, knight g8, by playing d5 and developing bishop on f5, and then playing e6 to getting some kind of a Caro-Kann version, the best way I would recommend. You can play bishop d3, of course. You can play knight f3. You can play almost any move here for white. But ambitious approach is c4. And now, if black takes, white takes, and black is going to have very serious problem. Not to mention that they cannot develop this bishop. Bishop f5 is out of question. They're going to have to play e6 and block the bishop on c8, because on bishop f5, simple queen b3 attacking b7 pawn and f7 pawn is very critical. So what you do here in this position with black, if they go c6, then you go knight to c3. And now, what should black do? If they go e6, then they play French defense with something like 3 or 4 tempos down. If they play bishop f5, I will tell you this, that this is the very well-known Caro-Kann position with 2 tempos down for black. Notice this. Okay, let's play it through the Caro-Kann. We go e4, c6, d4, d5, e5, bishop f5. And now we go c4 for white, knight c3 for white, and it's still our move. That's the position we had if we go through our move order. e4, knight f6, e5, knight g8, d4, d5, c4, c6, knight c3, and now bishop f5. If we play simple move like queen b3, black is just lost. They're losing pawn on d5, and they're losing the game. So that's the way to play against bad openings. Just notice this. In this, we went d4 and black went d5. We are way ahead in development. It's okay for us to initiate contact in the center. That's a logical move. It's not very necessary move. I think it's the best move, but if you played simple bishop d3, you would also get an advantage. On bishop d3, the best move for black is c5. But it's still, I don't want to go much further, because you can use your computer program, your engines, and it will show you clear way to get an advantage here as well. So another black opening that went bad. Sometimes on d4, lately I see move played by black e5. I covered it in one of my previous DVDs. That's a bad opening. That's a clear and very good example of a bad opening. Now we play de, and they go knight c6, try to get the pawn back. Well, the way I look at it, the best way to play, the way I see it, the best way to play for white is go knight f3, and now only move that makes sense for black is queen e7 to get the pawn back. But now see how illogical it is. So black sacrifice pawn on move 1. On move 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, they try to get this pawn back somehow. And in expense for their development. This is absolutely wrong way to play. What you can do, you can go e4, and after knight takes e5, knight c3. That's one way. The other way, the way I recommended before, is knight c3. After knight takes e5, knight d5, attacking queen, and c7 pawn. Knight takes f3. Pawn takes. Now queen should, the best move is to go back, and we're gonna go e4. Obviously, we are not planning on castling kingside, so what we want to do after c6 and knight c3, go quickly bishop e3, queen d2, and castling long. So what we want to do is we want c6, knight c3, and we're going to castle long. So this position is not good for black.
This is Grandmaster Damian Lemos. First of all, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to receive more free chess videos from us, you can just click the subscribe button below. I would also highly recommend signing up for my free mail course, the 10 Grandmaster Secrets to Dominate Chess. During this exclusive course from onlinechesslessons.net, I'll share with you my own Grandmaster shortcuts to effective attacking, defending, and growth hacks to improving your chess without complicated books or memorization. So sign up by clicking the sidebar on the right, and I know you won't be disappointed. Once more, this is Damian for onlinechesslessons.net, and I'll see you in my videos. Thank you.